And good afternoon, everybody. This is Tony Fapiano. I'm coming to you from Guilford, Connecticut on an absolutely perfect day. The day obviously would be perfect for the beach, for biking, for hiking, for you name it today. But I'm at the Guilford Lakes golf course. And the Guilford Lakes golf course, we're going to learn an awful lot about it. If you've never played golf or if you're a tremendous golfer, you're going to get as much information as I can possibly get for you regarding the golf course and some of the programs that exist here. So in a minute, I'm going to introduce you to the pro at Guilford Lakes, as well as one of the golf course commission members, Pat Pascal. The pro, by the way, is Mike Papp, and he's got a tremendous amount of experience. We'll learn about that, and we'll find out what good he can do for you and some of the benefits that you have by using him and some of the services that he offers. So let me take a quick break, and I'm going to bring Mike Papp, the pro, and Pat Pascal, a member of the Guilford Lakes Golf Commission, and we'll talk about all of the basic information regarding the Guilford Lakes Golf Course. Okay, folks, it's my privilege to introduce the new pro at the Guilford Lakes Golf Course, Mike Papp. Mike, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
I love it. Thank you.
Well, that's great. And Pat Pascal, many of you in Guilford may know him from other things he's involved in, but Pat is a member of the commission which oversees the golf course. So let me start with that. Get a little bit closer so we get you all in here.
Okay.
In terms of what the commission does and what its goals are, why don't you talk about that for a minute?
Well, Tony, I'd like to say that we are here to promote golf in the community and to also make this wonderful resource that we have a real community resource. And the golf course is just spectacularly laid out. Fortunately, we have a natural place for this, but we've endeavored to keep this up as an executive golf course for the community to use. And we've got a lot of programs that we're batting about, and that will be.
We're going to get those.
Yeah, it'll be inclusive later on. I'm not going to go into that now because Mike will be better able to address some of those things. But it's just a gorgeous day.
What a day! I know.
How nice it is to be on this wonderful course. Yeah. So we want to make this resource available to all the people in Guilford and the surrounding communities.
That's obviously a very ambitious goal, and I'm going to guess that there's some people in Guilford that don't even know there is a golf course here. That as much, and you've been here 14, 15 years, I think now, right?
No, I just started April 2nd.
Not you, I'm talking about the course itself.
Well, the course was taken over by the town in 1999. However, the property itself, as I've done my history, and I found history in the closet here, and I laminated it, and we're using it on the website. The property goes back as a two-hole golf course dating back to 1929. So we're really, in one way or another, the property has been used, except for a 10-year layoff where it went dormant. This is our 89th birthday. So it has a tremendous history, and that clubhouse has been rebuilt to look a lot like the other clubhouse. But there were parties and the get-togethers all the way from the Guilford's estates. And it was a live band and lobster dinners and stuff. So this has a really cool history, and I just don't think enough people know about it.
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons that we're here is that, you know, as you said, it's a natural resource. It's a tremendous opportunity for people in Guilford. I think whether you've played golf or not, whether you ever picked up a golf club or not, there's a way to play this course. I mean, it's a par 3, right? It's an executive course. Define what an executive course is.
Okay, an executive golf course by definition is that one hole be a par 4, and we have one par 4, which is our number 6 hole.
It's a brutal hole.
Well,
that's the one with the pond in front?
There's the pond in front, so it gives you a choice.
I've been in that water many times.
Well, that's why we have a lot of used balls in the shop. We find them. But the hole's still challenging. It plays at least 260 from the back tee, and then we move it around, and then we have the ladies' tees as well. But it's a 2-shot hole, and if you're a big hitter and you want to go for it, go ahead and try. Yeah. So and that's what defines it as an executive golf course. But I've been in the business.
So it has one par 4 is what's required to be an executive.
Correct.
Is there a minimum number of overall yardage that it has to be?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
And you have very short courses too. One of these holes here is, what, about 70, 80 yards?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
And again, there's a pond in front, and we move that tee around. But the thing is and it's not so easy for the ladies sometimes, because if they played a regulation par 4, the same tee shot that they hit on the par 3, because they require sometimes to hit drivers to go 150 yards, they get penalized here because, you know, you got to hit the greens. So this is one of the most challenging par 3s I've ever seen. As far as the natural terrain goes, I've not seen one. When I first took a walk up here interviewing for the job with Ted back in March, I said, this place has got a lot of character, and it really does.
Yeah.
I have not seen a prettier one.
Now, you're referring back 60, 70, 80 years to the very beginning of this golf course, but it's only recently that it's been a course in this condition. It's completely done over 14, 15 years ago.
It started then, yes. As a matter of fact, it did. In fact, when it restarted, Tony, I'm privileged to say that I'm one of the charter members, and the golf course is nothing like it was then.
You haven't aged a day, Pat.
Well,
Me either. Go ahead.
Tony, I remember we walked around the short pants in grammar school.
Now, you're talking about charter member from 15 years ago, not
Yeah.
the 80 years ago.
No, not 89.
Well, you really look good.
Yeah, right. It's the preservation. Anyway, it's such a great course, and it has matured every single year, and loving care has gone into the protection and creation of course it is. I can't think of any three park course that I've played on I've ever had.
Well, Mike probably has more experience than you when it comes to other courses.
Absolutely.
By comparison, how does this compare relative to other executive courses?
Well, most par threes or executive golf courses tend to be flat with no character, and it looks like someone's backyard with flag sticks in it. And a lot of them, then, they'll have mats on the tees and things like that. Well, this is all natural, and it's the terrain, and there's attention to detail. You know what? The old nickname is the jewel of the shoreline, which is original articles that were written. But I came up with a name, and one of the players that came off the golf course came and raved about it just this season and said, this is like a little Augusta. So with the radio commercial and the additional ads that I've been writing,
Got the azaleas in the ground.
we got to get the azaleas. It's a good place for them. It's Guilford's little Augusta, and it's that pretty. Every hole is unique, and one flows to the other. And then also the holes aren't just wide open so you see everybody. They're private. And that's really an architect's ambition, is to try to make every hole private if they can, as opposed to everything open. And this, you're in the woods, and
I think you've accomplished that. Yeah.
he has, and then we have beautiful rocks and stones and things like that. That I've seen poor people while I'm giving lessons out there try to get over the rocks from the par three if they miss their shot, and they hit it into the rocks and it shanks backwards or ricochets backwards into the pond. So again, it has its own challenges. So it's really a real pretty place.
Yeah. You also have a clubhouse here.
Yes.
And you use the clubhouse for what?
Well, we do have the Guilford Lakes Estates still has their meetings once a month. I believe it's probably been grandfathered, and we enjoy having them come up here. They've always had the meetings here, and the golf course is still here for their use. I have a pro shop, which there hasn't been one. I don't know if it's been 8 or 10 years, and I have nice logoed equipment and things like that, or clothing that I'm selling. And we're getting that off the ground because for many years people haven't really, there was nothing to buy. We do snacks, we're working on food, we're trying to put tables in there.
So you're starting to stock the pro shop with inventory now?
Oh, I have been since the beginning of the season, and it's got a different look now. It looks like a clubhouse. What we talked about at the beginning of the year is like, I don't need all that floor space, so it'd be wonderful to bring in some circular tables and some chairs and put another TV on the far wall and create a pro shop clubhouse environment. We'd also like to bring in, we haven't perfected it yet because we haven't got a place to sit down yet, but we want to bring food in, light food, simple
Alcohol?
things. No, they won't be doing that because we're too close.
Town
to
property, right? Yeah.
Well, we're 500 yards within the school.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Although that wouldn't be a bad idea, but because that's a great profit maker, but we can't do it here. But we'll have hot dogs and some cold sandwiches, and we're going to get involved more with a refrigerator and a freezer in there, and be able to offer that sort of thing to kids and their parents and the people that play here. And it's just a matter of every change of their habits because they eat before they come here, and eventually they'll be able to sit down and eat when they're here.
Pat, what's the relationship between the commission and the pro that you've hired now, this first season here? First of all, how'd you hire him? What was good about Mike, and why did you decide? Because I'm sure you had input on that.
Yes,
why he's here.
We had several.
Turn just a little bit so we
I
make
beg
sure
your
we get
pardon,
a
sure.
full face on the camera.
Mike came to us, highly recommended. We scrutinized a lot of resumes, and Mike was selected by unanimous vote on the board. And he has all the credentials that we could have hoped for. And it's showing in the programs that he's undertaken so far, particularly with teaching golf. And that's something that we're very, very proud to have here to offer to our Little League kids, girls and boys, to learn the game of golf. It's a lifelong sport, and that's how we approach it here.
Yeah, I just met an 11-year-old kid walking off the course, or maybe he just started the course. He's just starting to tee off, and he was saying that he just started playing golf and he likes it and all of that. What could be better for a kid than to be out here in the sun on this environment?
Yeah.
Well, that's how I got tossed into the game at about 13 years old. My father and his brothers were in the business at Fairfield Country Club. We were altar boys at the time, so I didn't mind at that time trying something different. So we became caddies at Ridgewood Country Club in Danbury, and then I got the bug. Instead of playing baseball and basketball, we started playing golf, and I stayed in it, and I became the assistant pro there, and then a head pro in New Milford. And I mean, the smell of grass in the morning. I don't
Now,
think
New Milford, was that a par 3 course also?
No, that was an 18-hole golf course right on Route 7, and I was there 7 years and built up a pretty strong retail business. We didn't have a range there, and so I didn't do much teaching, and I wasn't very good at the time. And then I left after 7 years.
Good at what? At playing or teaching?
Teaching. And so I really wanted to get into teaching, and I left and I went over to Stony Hill Lawn Drive in Bethel, which is actually where Mr. Mazza used to practice before he moved to Guilford. And, oh, okay.
Okay. He's telling me we're 15 minutes into the show.
Oh,
All right, well, tell me now the next 15 minutes, okay? All right.
Okay. So anyways, that's when I delved into teaching, and I was not confident because nobody ever taught me. Even the golf professionals that I work for and with, they didn't teach, and they played well, but they didn't teach. So finally, I was getting so busy just because I was nice to people. I was giving 17 lessons a day from 7:30 to 9:30 in the morning till 7:30 at night. It was too much, but I opened up the phone book, and I
Especially if you have students like me. That's got to be
No.
really frustrating.
No. You know, one of the things I say is you got to finish off the last lesson with as much enthusiasm and patience as the first one. But I found a teacher. I knew his brother when I was at Canwood Valley, and I'd heard about him. He was 2 pros before me, and he'd finished up his career at Wingfoot and Westchester Country Club.
Wingfoot.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to find this guy. And I found him living in Reading, and I asked him if he wanted to come over to talk about teaching. And boy, he said, sure. And I met one of the dearest men that I've ever met, and he became like a father to me. And he taught with me for 3 years and taught me for 3 years and showed me the angle of attack technique that I use today. And he passed away about 16 years ago of cancer, but I was so lucky to know him. I never met anybody more fascinated about teaching than him.
You have a technique, you said. You have a way of teaching. Is it different for someone who's never played golf versus somebody who's had a lot of years experience, but they have developed a lot of bad habits? I mean, how do you handle the two range of, that's a wide range of problems for you.
Well, the 5-step system includes 3 simple drills, which include the pivot, the grip, the plane of the golf swing, how the golf swing is related to other sports, and then finally how the ball gets up in the air. And that's the first thing. We don't hit a lot of balls. We don't hit any balls. We do that, and they have practice and homework to do when they go home. That's juniors and beginners. And then we start to slide in, depending on the person's ability, we start talking about angle of attack. If somebody's taken lessons from me before, I can generally fix them on the phone, or they say, Mike, I lost my swing. No, you didn't. You just got out of position. So they come back, we put
And
them.
you recognize that. I mean,
yeah,
You
sure.
would watch me swing and say, no,
Oh, yeah.
right foot, left foot, hips, whatever.
Yes, of course. I
Wing
mean,
shift.
I think I've done this over 10,000 times. So, eventually you learn something. I mean, the teacher becomes the student. So,
I get the hang of it.
you get, I think I got the hang of it. But, and I had a great teacher. And if it wasn't for him, I would never have accomplished, some of the things I've accomplished as a teacher. I love it. There's no greater reward than to see the success of a junior or a senior and everybody in between get better in a short period of time. They're so happy. And I love teaching the shank or fixing the shanks. There's no greater thing to fix because that's a great way for a teacher to show off their skill as a teacher. I don't shy away from it. I know what causes it, and I fix it. Boy, I'll tell you, that student leaves happy, and they're my best source of advertising.
Yeah. Well, you know what happens too is, I mean, as a kid, I was a caddy and played a lot of golf. Almost every day I played golf, and you get good. I mean, lesson or no, if you play that often and you play with and you're caddying for players, you learn a lot. But then I didn't play for a long time. Now I try to get back at it, and I'm not what I was. And that's frustrating.
Sure.
I know I could do this before, and I can't do it now. I know my distance was one. Now it's this. Now I had a hook before, and now I have a slice. So
I'm going through that too.
But you could find that out.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, I could just take a look at somebody, and sometimes somebody could just tell me over the phone where the ball is going, and I already know what the problem is. Okay, the grip is so important, and so many people just overlook it, as it was with me growing up with the pros. I had a horrible grip. Nobody showed me the right way. I was
Probably had a baseball grip.
Well, it was a very caddy strong grip,
Yeah.
and I had the wrong picture in mind. But again, I always say this, even though the game of golf is about 500 years old, or however far back you want to argue it, it's still in its infant stages of being taught the right way. Because what good players do and what they thought they were doing are two different things, and that's true today. And unfortunately, I say this to my students, it's not getting better. Well, how can it not be getting better? Because we got the Golf Channel and all this stuff. Well, new teachers that are coming on the Golf Channel are trying to impress everybody with big words. And I had a buddy of mine that was also a golf pro, and we used to say, look, if we can't spell it, we don't use it. So if I don't understand the words that these guys are talking about on TV, how are regular golfers supposed to understand it?
Right.
So it's getting too impressive. And if you get too impressive, then we lose people with words that make it sound impossible. And who wants to play anything if it sounds impossible?
Yeah. The other thing I think that's changed as far as interest in golf, I think interest in golf is at a high again. I mean, Tiger Woods obviously brought a lot of young people
Yes, he did.
in. But I think also, I go back to Player, Nicklaus, Palmer, Trevino, that era. Yeah, that era, and TV came along at the same time, so you could actually see these guys.
Right.
Before that you really couldn't. But I think it's had a revival again on TV with the Golf Channel, and I think there's probably more interest in the sport with. Look at the young people that are winning these tournaments. Every week it's somebody different.
Right.
You got a Spieth out there, but beyond that, there's a lot of people that
I never even heard of.
Yeah.
They come out of college and they have no fear.
Yeah.
They used to be afraid of Tiger. They could hear his footsteps. These young kids right now, they hit it longer than he hit it, and they don't care.
Yeah.
They just come out. They don't. If he was out there when he was Magic, and doing things that nobody ever saw before, they wouldn't care now, because they think they're Magic too. So it's really quite incredible. There's such a wide spectrum of talent, and it keeps coming up from the junior programs, high school, college. There's talent galore out there, and it's amazing. I don't know everybody, but in the 70s I knew everybody.
Yeah,
I knew the Fuzzy Zellers.
you knew the top 10 for sure.
Sure.
And, yeah.
So,
in terms of kids today, I mean, kids today are involved in so many things. I mean, these kids that are doing camera work for me today and helping with the assistants here. I mean, you got swimming, you got football, you got baseball, you got basketball, you got stuff they do in the middle school. I mean, they're just involved in so many things. So that's the other problem, is how do you work around their schedule to get them here to be a part of programs that you might be running?
well, I offer a lot of them. That's for one thing. I had room for 160 kids this year. I had room for 20 kids in each program, and I ran it for. I had a schedule for 8 weeks from the moment they got out of school until they, go back. But again, I'm new, and things didn't kick off real quick. But going into next year, it should be booming. And now people are asking about fall programs, and Pat here has asked about perhaps doing something in the wintertime to a location we'll discuss or to talk about later. But of course, I've done all that
You're a
stuff.
12-month employee here?
No, it's 6 months, but I don't want to go to Florida this year. I like living up here. I just moved here a couple months ago. I have a great apartment in town, and I love Guilford. And to me, it's a miniature Cape Cod. So I don't want to have to go anywhere if I don't have to. And I really, really enjoy the people here.
Okay. Pat, involvement with civic groups, corporations in town, fundraisers, that sort of thing. Has the commission talked about that?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we have. We've got to be more prominently known in the community, and I think we've lagged in that. So we are reaching out to civic groups, to corporations, and it'll go forward. As Mike said just a moment ago, we hope to have a winter program, and it may be involving some of the resources of the town, like the community center, but Mike is absolutely skillful and adaptable to that. The more that we can bring kids in to play a sport they can play from the time they're 8 years old to they're 90, the better it is for them. It's an intuitive, and it's a sport in which you have to use a lot of mathematics and a lot of skills, thinking skills, reasoning skills. Composure, exactly.
Yeah. Etiquette.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And all those things are incorporated into building, we think, good citizens, as well as good golfers and people that enjoy it.
Now, Mike would be, at the Rotary Club, we have a speaker every week at our luncheon.
Okay.
And they speak on, you name it, we have a speaker. Okay, it doesn't matter what the topic is. You would be an excellent speaker to come to the club to talk about the golf course and some of the programs. And you have a lot of corporate heads in the Rotary Club who might have an outing for their employees or whatever. You know, I know that the Interact Club, which is part of Rotary, comes here every year. They have a huge fundraiser here. They raised over $5,000 this year, is what I was told. All goes back to the community. It's a fundraiser, nonprofit, so it all goes back. Fantastic.
Well, yes. You know, obviously we don't have the size to run 140 players a shotgun like I used to, you know, do at a full-size course.
Right, you wouldn't do that on a 9-hole anyway, right?
We have our limitations. However, I will say, I think I mentioned it earlier, we did have in April the first tournament we had here, which they never played here before. The Milford Fire Department came, and they had 26 players. They also raised over $5,000. They brought their food truck in. These are retired volunteers that were all firefighters, and they are the ones that travel to the fires when the guys are putting out the fires, and they feed them. And it's their official town truck, and it was wonderful. And they set up awnings, and they made quite a bit of money. They did, you know, long arm raffles and all. And the compliments about the golf course, that first of all they said,
they've seen it for the first time.
they said
Many of them.
right, the
Yeah,
first time
most
they
of
ever
them.
played, all of them. Nobody ever played here before. They said, and then the thing is we were able to get this tournament out, have lunch at the turn. They were all fed, and get back out to their assigned tees and be out of here in 3 hours. When we
So they made it an 18-hole tournament.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yep. We
okay,
just go
yeah.
around twice, and then they said, and otherwise we go to other places and we're there 6 hours, and then we don't get home for 8 hours, and it's this was fantastic. And it was the same size group. They said, you know, it's not like we had a bigger group, but this allows people to get around quicker, and then they were able to get on. They knocked everything down. The place was clean. You didn't even know they were here, and they called, I don't know, twice to compliment the service and the golf course and the amenities and all. And that's just one. We just had the Guilford Amateur.
I
Golf
just watched
Championship.
this guy tee off. I could give him strokes.
Yes.
No.
Well,
No.
I wish I could say that. I couldn't.
I'm only kidding if you're watching this.
well, and one of the things, this was my baby actually this year. I came up with an idea to have the first Guilford Amateur Championship. Every town should have an amateur championship, regardless of the size of the golf course. And we had 30 players signed up, and we played 18 holes. We started the first. They went off on the white tees first, and then the blue tees second.
Oh, you changed the
Yeah.
nature of each hole then.
Yep, and we had a tricky pin placement on 9. Ted made sure of that. Ted Ty, our superintendent, and then we did a low gross and a low net division. We had, I kiddingly wrote it, we had a gourmet breakfast which included donuts and decaffeinated or caffeinated coffee, and we had a fully catered
Gourmet donuts, though.
gourmet donuts, Dunkin' all the way. So then, I had hot dogs and hamburgers, and then John Sunday, he took over the cooking and put his own spin on backyard barbecuing. So, and everybody ate. We did the scoring, and you know, the prizes were handed out. The paper was here, taking photographs, and that little thing was so. They were so impressed with it.
They'll be back.
They'll be back. Well, they have an idea. We're going to do in October. We're going to have another tournament, and this time they want to do a 36-hole tournament with an 18-hole cut, and to make it more interesting.
Oh.
Okay, and that would be 36 holes.
Now you're talking competition.
That's right,
Yeah.
and then you grind a little harder. We'll have the newspaper here, and again, food, and that'll again be another annual event. We don't know exactly the format or the name or the date, but October, it could be Oktoberfest, it could be the Fall Classic, it could be a Ryder Cup, whatever they want to call it. But we're going to do that. They asked for it. Of course we're going to do it. They all enjoyed it. It was simple, but it was that little thing was really kind of huge.
Yeah, it's great for you. It's great for the town, and
Yep.
it's a win-win situation. I
Yep.
mean, for the group that was here, they made the money for whatever they use it for, and that's great. In terms of when you do have a tournament here, or you have a corporate group or a fundraiser, whatever it is that you do here, do you close the course to the public
If
on those days?
when we do a shotgun, we do, but we close it. If the shotgun, let's say, is going at 9, we'll open the golf course at 7 and have those that want to play early off the golf course before the shotgun. On Saturday,
You're gonna have to juggle that as you become more well-known and more popular.
course.
Yeah.
and then of course we put it on the website and post it, and then we reopen it in the afternoon. So we really don't lose anything, but we do want to make people aware so they don't drive up here and get disappointed. On Saturday, I did not close the golf course. We had I stood on the first tee and I sent the groups off as they were ready. It was only 7 groups. They said, "We're going to do a shotgun." I said, "No, we can't shut the golf course down for a shotgun on Saturday. We also have to,
Yeah.
do business here."
Well,
But it
none of the 18-hole courses do that either. Usually it's a Monday or a Tuesday or something.
Right.
Yeah.
But we got our regular play in, and we got our tournament off, and nobody was in the way of anybody.
Yeah.
So everybody just followed everybody. And
The pressure's on, Mike. You're gonna have to learn. You're gonna have to schedule that. Yeah.
no, that's no
Yeah.
problem. I've done it a lot of times too. I enjoy running tournaments too. So, but I enjoyed the response. The people enjoyed it so much, you know. And I said, well, geez, that wasn't even big. That was little. But even little things mean a lot to people because they haven't had it in a while, you know.
Well, to me, it sounds interesting that a fundraiser can be held here in a shorter amount of time than it would be on an 18-hole course somewhere, at a fraction of the cost.
Yes.
I mean, these tournaments now run 200,
Oh, yeah.
250, and whatever. Now, I'm involved with the Guilford Community Fund. They got one coming in September, October this year at Madison Country Club. Okay, pal. He's telling me we're 30 minutes in.
Okay.
And that's one of the least expensive costs. I think it's 150, and none of them are 150 anymore.
Right.
But that's because it's a nonprofit organization. They do very well. They sell it out, and they make a lot of money, which is important to them. But you could do this in a half a day.
Yes.
And
Well, we could do it in 3 hours.
Yeah.
You know, and they can make their money and be on their way, and they enjoy that because then they get back to their families and their wives. And that was one of the things they said. They said, "Wow, generally we start early in the morning. We don't get home till dark." And they were on their way by 1, and the place was all picked up and cleaned up, and you didn't know they were here. And they really, I remember that group because they kept calling and saying, "Boy, we had such a good time." So that means a lot, you know.
Yeah. But you know what? You see this for the first time, you're going to say, I never expected this. You driving down the street here. I never expected that it would be in this condition with this much scenery. I mean, it's just fabulous. Lucas, I hope you're getting some good shots of what's behind us here. I'm talking to Lucas, our cameraman, and his brother Jordan. This is our production team. And on short notice, these are my guys. These are the guys that come and do it for me.
And they're very, very excellent and competent guys. We
Now,
appreciate it.
he's 11. Sorry, 12. I should know this, right? And he's 8, right? Okay.
And they're
What do you
also
do with
your-
kids that age? You have youth programs here.
Of course, yeah, we have the junior programs. I have, during the beginning of Tiger Mania and the.
Can an 8-year-old
Yes.
learn from you?
Yes.
Jordan, come here.
I'm going to be tested.
Okay, this is Jordan. He's 8.
Okay, Jordan.
He's an excellent athlete.
Okay.
He's a football player, baseball player, basketball player,
Okay.
and swimmer. Does it all.
Great.
Okay. What would you do? He's never played golf. What would you do with somebody this age?
Okay, the first thing we do is the
Don't
first
step on
lesson
my
we
wire.
always do.
Okay.
The first thing we do is always in the first lesson. Did you ever hit a golf ball before?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, that's kind of like a no.
On a course like this or miniature golf?
Miniature.
Yeah. Did you ever hit one on something like this?
No, I don't think so.
No. Okay, so what I do with all our junior programs, and I do it with beginners, no matter what their age, anyways, is I want to just show you one little thing. Can I step in front and do a drill with him?
Sure.
Okay.
Go ahead. We'll step out of the shot, and you do what you got to do. All right. You guys stay right where you are, so that Lucas can get you.
Okay.
Okay. You pay. Let me have the watch.
Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. I'll face this way if that's okay. All right. So you face me. So what I do, the first drill is the pivot. Okay. Now I'm gonna assume if I put a club in his hand, he'd create some sort of a circle. But I know that the footwork wouldn't be correct because I can always tell right now his feet are too close together. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna set your feet shoulder width apart, and then I want you to feel in a nice athletic ready position, just like all your other sports, like on the balls of your feet. Okay. Not on your heels or on your toes. Then I'm going to take your arms and I'm going to glue them to your side like this. And now you might be asking why, but I'll explain why after. If we don't have enough TV time for this stuff, but I just want to show you how one drill can make a difference. Now I'll do it first and then you copy me, okay? So I'll do the drill first. My arms are fixed to my side. And now because I'm right-handed too, I'm going to go in the opposite direction. And you're going to go that way towards the camera because you're the star and I'm not, okay? So it's a half circle back with the weight on the right foot, okay? Inside the right foot, and then all the way up on your right toe. Oh, there it is. Now, in one simple drill, that's about 80% of the golf swing. In one
So
simple
you're talking
drill.
about the weight shift now. Is
It's
that it?
called a pivot. It is the athletic move in the golf swing, and we can't play the game very well if our feet are glued to the ground. You can play without feet or legs, but and it's not where all the source of power comes from, but it's not a bad place to start. Okay, so right there, I could tell right now, even wearing flip-flops, that he is a good athlete, and he responded to that very, very simply. I get people sometimes, no matter what the age is, men or women, or it doesn't matter what the age, that can't do this. And they're challenged to do it, and I work harder to make them do this because it's going to be a challenge for them to play the game if they can't do this. But about 99% of the people can do this, so very, very few people can't do it. Okay, that means everybody can play the game.
And you, as the pro teacher, you're going to have to stick to it and keep correcting what they're not doing.
Absolutely, and then the next thing we do is the proper grip. And again, if you have homework to do when you go home, the kids don't like to hear that when it's the summertime. But I put your hands on the club the right way with the proper grip, okay, and explain which one is proper, and then you work on that. And if when you come back the next time, I'll put your hands on the club the right way until you don't need my help anymore. Nothing takes the place of holding the club the right way.
All right. So if Grandpa wants to bring Jordan in for lessons, for a series of lessons or whatever, brand new novice, never picked up a golf club, what does that cost, Grandpa?
We did the program this year to get it started. We did Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings from 9 to 11, and so it's 2 hours, and it was $100, and we did chipping, putting, a little golf course experience depending on the size of the group, and every junior gets a little trophy.
Oh.
And so now some people, I'm surprised, some people say, well, I don't like my child getting a trophy because I want it earned. Okay, well, I say, well, life is hard enough when they become adults. Let them be kids.
Yeah.
They earned it by showing up, and they earned it by listening and behaving, and they earned it by achieving. Okay.
All right. So here's what you're doing, right? You got your club, you got your feet shoulder width apart.
Yep.
You're gonna shift,
Turn back to your right side.
come back.
Turn.
Yeah.
So your left pocket is back, and then you
No, shift. No, keep the foot down. It's not
Yes,
baseball.
That's okay. That's what we talk about, and we talk about that and how the golf swing is related to the sports.
He's a good baseball player.
I could tell.
Yeah.
But the golf swing is similar to baseball and tennis and throwing a frisbee. We go the other way. Throwing a javelin, throwing a football. The only thing different from golf is we don't step. But the golf
You
swing,
don't have to wear a helmet.
you don't have to wear a helmet, and you generally don't get blocked or tackled. But the thing about it is, I tell the kids, if they want to relate it to baseball, the pivot is everything is powerful minus the step. Okay, and we talk about that in the next couple of steps, but I know we don't have time for that.
Yeah.
However, the child.
Come on back in here. All right, get out of here.
The child can. They kind of like this. I said, I know the golf ball is more energized than the baseball, but when you get better and you get older, and then you can take a 7 or an 8 iron and go to any baseball stadium in the world, tee it up at home plate, and knock it out of the stadium. And that's pretty powerful. That's pretty powerful. They just had the long drive championships up in, I've been watching them on the Golf Channel. They are hitting the ball 440 yards. Okay, now this was at Mile High, the long drive competition, so the air is rarefied, and of course the ball travels further. But these people are hitting the ball so far. That's over the length of 4 football fields. And so with not a whole lot of effort, we could generate a lot of club hit speed with good technique.
Yeah, and the thing that impresses me about some of these long ball hitters on the Pro Tour is that they're not big people.
No.
I mean, some of them are. You probably hit a long ball because you know what you're doing.
I used to, but it's called swing atrophy. When you stop doing it, then you lose it. So I'd have to get back into working out in the sense of hitting a lot of balls to get it back. But you take Ricky Fowler right now. He's a little guy.
I mean, think about it.
But watch his golf swing in slow motion. He is awesome. He's about 5'8", 5'9", and he's one of the longest hitters on tour. But they all work out these days. He was already a good athlete before he got into golf, and then he's now just coming into his own, and now he's one of the stars out there, and the kids are eating him up now because they can associate with him, So, but yeah, energy comes in a lot of different packages, and just because you're big and strong doesn't make you a long hitter. Okay, I've seen skinny little people, skinnier than me, that hit the ball tremendous distance. So our bodies, God gave us 2 different kinds of muscle types: fast muscles and slow muscles. Fast muscles are short, thicker muscles. That would be a sprinter. Longer, slender muscles would be a marathon runner. Now I'm a marathon runner, not a sprinter. The sprinters can create an enormous amount of energy in the golf swing, and it's really kind of fascinating to watch.
All right, get back to the youth program. You still have openings for the rest of this season?
Yes, I have.
This program is probably going to air. Today is Wednesday. This probably will be on Saturday, all weekend. Saturday it'll run 6 times a day, all weekend.
I have 3
and next week too.
I have one more. I have a program next week, and I've got 3, I believe, signed up. And I got a parent that says I'm going to try to recruit 2 more from my neighborhood. So 4 or 5 is fine, and I don't think I have anybody after that for the next 2 weeks. But that's not uncommon for August, and especially for the late start that we have.
But if there's people watching that want to get involved, you would create another schedule.
Sure. Sure, we just keep adding them on, and that could very well be what takes us into a fall program and a winter program. The more, the merrier. And we know we have enough people in Guilford. There's 40,000+ people, and then we know we got thousands of kids and plenty of schools.
Well, there's 23,000 population in Guilford, but
yeah?
this program is going to, you're probably going to have Shannon put this on YouTube,
Yes.
which means it goes out to the world.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I don't know if I got room for the world, but we'll try. We'll find another
You
way.
might need an assistant pro.
I might need an assistant. Yeah, Pat, are you free?
What have we not talked about that you think the public should know about the course, about you, about the condition, about anything?
Well, you know, Ted Ty and his staff, we really work on a kind of a shoestring staff here, and everybody has their own talents. And Ted really, he built this place. I mean, there's the Sikoris brothers are the architects, and they've done a bit of work along the shoreline as architects for golf course, and they came in and turned this place around. And this is Ted's baby, and I think Ted is behind the scenes too much, and I don't like being in front of the scenes because this is his place and I'm new. But I wished he was here today, but he's with his son. He had to be with his family, so that's first. That's Ted, and we're gelling.
He could have been a star.
And he's much better looking than me.
Not really.
So, but they're the unsung heroes, and of course you hear it on the Open Champions. Thank your green superintendent. Ted is kind of behind the scenes. He loves being out on the golf course. Since I've come in, he's able to get away from the clubhouse, where in some of his duties in there, and be where he wants to be, and that's worked out very well. And we all get along very well, and the people are responding to that. When they come in the shop for the first time, they see Jack Moriarty inside, who's a really happy guy, and I met him just when I started, and right off the bat, I liked him immediately, so we're already good friends. And then the customers that we get here are terrific, you know. When the photographer finished at the Guilford Amateur Championship on Saturday, she called me on Monday. She needed a name to fill in because she didn't get your name on one of the photographs. And she said, you know, I really enjoyed myself. I said, I didn't expect you to stay all the way through lunch. She goes, but the people are so terrific. I said, we do have terrific people. So,
you know what? I think that's indicative of a lot of golf courses. Yeah. It's a happy place to be. Mm-hmm. It's a relaxing place to be. A lot of the pressure from the daily life is not present. Mm-hmm. You know.
So, you know, like I said, because and I'll just finish up, unless you ask me more questions, but Ted Ty has done a marvelous job, and he's going on his 20th year here, and, you know, he's humble and he stays out of the way, but I'm Ted, I want you to get out front. You know, it's not just me, and it's not just anybody, but, you know, and then Steve and Craig and Kenny, who helps out, they fill in and they do the job, and they do the job of 10 people, and there's 5 of them maybe. And they're all personable with the customers here. Everybody knows by name. They stop their carts and they lend an ear and they talk to them and they share a story. You know, one of the things I keep hearing is that when all the other not all the other golf courses, but some of the other golf courses burn out during the dog days of summer, we're always green and lush. And that is why.
How do you do that?
Well, a lot of water. But we have access to it, but boy, they pay for it, right?
What's the access?
Well, it's the town water and we pay for it. And but
do you draw from the ponds here?
I don't. I'm not at liberty. I don't think we do draw from the ponds. Go ahead, Pat.
No, I don't think that we do, but this year we've had a plentiful amount of rainfall, which has been a blessing.
Yeah, for a while there was raining every other day a little bit. Yeah.
Tony, our water budget was less than last year.
That's right.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about money now, because you're the money guy, because you're the commission. You got to make ends meet here.
Yeah, and quite frankly, it's like any other town project. You're not in this business to be Augusta and make lots of money. It's not that well known, but we hope and think and project that we're probably going to break even or be in a positive financial.
Which would be a plus, because that hasn't happened in recent years, right?
It has not happened, and you know, as I travel around the country, golf courses of this size, and I'm talking about New England, are not big profit centers. They're just simply not. It's a community resource, just as the other resources that we have that we pay in our tax bills but don't even think about. Yeah.
And you know what? I don't know what your green fees are here. $14, $15.
Yeah,
that's pretty average, right?
Well, I think we're
for a course like this.
We're not excessive for sure. I think our highest rate is $18 for a non-resident weekend rate, and whereas the low is $12 for the weekdays for the kids, or $13. The seniors are like $14, so they're very, very reasonable. And the membership or the season pass, however you want to define that, is very affordable for unlimited play. We had one of our members, John Sunday, and his buddies. They bragged they played 180 times last year, and that rate.
180.
Yeah, 180 times.
Yeah.
And I mean, this year I believe our regular rate is $360 for a regular resident, and then it gets cheaper with the juniors, and it gets cheaper with the seniors.
But if somebody wants the specifics on that, do you have a website?
Sure.
What's the website address?
It's GuilfordLakesGolfCourse.com. There's a flyover there, and we do have a new social media gentleman that the town has hired, and I work with him, and we all work with him, and we're updating everything. Because
Who's that? Who are you using for that?
His name is Stanley Brucasis, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, but so we can go to the website, which is GuilfordLakesGolfCourse.com.
Correct.
If they want to contact you directly and ask you a specific question, I'm sure there's questions going to come out of this. What's the best way to reach you?
Well, I respond to questions and the compliments that we get from our website here, and I also I have my website, which is MikePapGolf.com, and I'm on Instagram too, which is MikePapPGA. All these
Pap is P-A-P-P?
That's correct, and I'm Facebook. These are all things I didn't know because I also hired somebody to finally do something like this, and we've all found that there's been. Well, that's where people are doing business now. They're doing business on their phone and on the computer, and so
I'm in the real estate business. Pat's wife is in the buyers start online.
Yep.
We don't meet them until they've already looked at the whole market, basically.
Right. Okay.
Right?
So I'm from. I used to do radio commercials and the newspaper, but that was before anybody had a computer or a phone. So things have changed, and now we're changing with them. So
Got some wildlife here. I just saw a big hawk. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Flying
Yeah, we got
overhead. You must have some deer here.
We have deer and we have a fox that Ted's getting annoyed with, even though he's beautiful. But he's digging up the bunkers. But and we find some scat out there too. But no, we got a ton of squirrels and chipmunks. One day I was giving a lesson, and the chipmunk ran up on the lesson tee right between me and my student, and looked at us, and we talked to it for a second. And he turned around and walked away. So
It's a friendly town.
very
Even the
friendly.
squirrels.
All the animals, they love it. But you asked about how green it stays. One of the reasons why is because the shade we have too. We have marvelous trees here,
Yeah.
and so if you have very few trees, then the golf course is exposed to the sun. So the wonderful shade that we have also makes it more pleasurable to walk and it gets you out of the heat a bit when we have those hot days.
Okay. Well, really, guys, thanks for your time, first of all, and a tremendous amount of information. I think we covered a lot of ground. I'm sure there's stuff we haven't covered, and in that case, you might get visits to your website and emails and whatever else, phone calls. It's so impressive. It really is. I mean, the condition of this course, we're at the very end of July now, almost August, and a lot of courses are already brown.
That's right.
This one is perfectly green. It's really fantastic.
It is a magnificent place to be. This is probably the best kept golf course that I've seen in maybe 10 years.
Yeah.
I must say, I know I'm bragging, but it's true.
But it's okay to brag. Well, there's another little thing that happens here, and that's we have two families that have been coming here for about 4 years now, and that's the Caligari family and the Musto family. You know them, Al Caligari, John Musto, and the son, daughter-in-law, a couple of friends. Every Thursday night for the last 4 years, they come out, and it's family night. They come out, they play 9 holes. The gals go first. They bring food. We have the grill going with propane in it and all the utensils they need. They set up the tables and they put candles out, and they're working on music, light music out there, and they enjoy 9 holes of golf together. They come in, they sit, they have dinner, they cook on the grill, they enjoy each other's time,
Wow.
and they tell me that every...
Now, what do you mean family night? Something that you have set up, or
No,
they
no.
call it family night?
They call their family night, and this is
Okay.
when they get together and spend time together, and I give them at 7:30 or whoever's here, they hang out maybe till 9 o'clock, and then they clean up and they go. But I think that is so wonderful because they maybe don't get a chance together to do it on a Sunday, but they've been doing it for years. They love the peaceful look over the golf course. They set up candles on the banister over there, and they invite anybody to come up and sit with them. And they said, we look forward to this the moment we get up in the morning. We go to work, and we can't wait to come here that night, and that's how we enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, fantastic.
And that's what the place was built for.
So there's a lot of different options for the use of this course.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a single play, there's a fundraiser, and everything in between. And corporate outings. I mean,
Sure.
you want to bring your staff out. This is a great place to be.
Sure.
And now, if a group like that brings their own beer, is that permitted?
No.
ahead,
Well,
Pat.
let him answer that.
No, it isn't.
It is not.
No,
Okay.
we're too close to the school for one thing. We don't have a permit, and I'm not so sure that we want to pursue that. It's probably soft drinks for now.
Yeah. Okay.
As we
Just
go
to clarify
forward.
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and I do want to clarify that because
I mean, the bigger courses have the 19th hole. You know?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they also have the carts that run up to the fifth hole
Yeah.
and
Right.
bring you a beer. But we can't do that now, and I don't know if we ever will or if it's part of our profile. I don't know.
Yeah. But the commission would be something you deal with if the issue comes up.
The commission would be and the town fathers. Also.
I noticed I went to the website. You have a couple of openings on your commission.
Yes.
I think there's 2 vacancies.
Yes.
As there are on most commissions in town now.
Yes.
Are you looking for people to join?
Yes, as a matter of fact,
How
we're always
often do you
looking
meet?
for people. We meet once a month on Tuesday night, the second Tuesday of the month, I believe. And
You meet here?
Yeah, we meet at the Clubhouse.
That's nice.
And we generally have a full board on hand. Those of us that travel for a living and can't always make it, but we do have a good representation. And the thing, Tony, is that the people that are on this commission want to be on this commission. They want this community to thrive. We have the pride that you yourself as a resident have, and Mike is becoming a resident, and we have that sense of innate pride. It's a wonderful New England town, and we've got so many resources.
All right, man. You did a great job. I appreciate the information.
Thank you so much.
Good luck to you and the commission. And Mike, all the best to you.
Well,
And
thank you. It's only
next
gonna-
season, I'm sure it's going to be
Oh.
whatever you have, double, triple, whatever.
Oh, I would think so. So we'll probably have a waiting list for the amateur championship, and the kids, I'm sure that parents are like, well, next year, with the websites and everything, we'll be putting it out in March now, that's when people are looking for it, and I'll have all the dates and everything ready to go. So we'll be full. We'll be rocking and rolling. I'll be walking into a different season. It's a rebuild time. That's what I said to the committee, and that's what I've said to Mr. Mazza. It's a rebuilding season. If I could turn a light switch on, if we all could, and just make it happen like that, we would. But we can't. It takes time. It takes dealing with people and working with people, creating relationships, and that's what we're all doing.
Okay, Pat, just so you know, this will go on YouTube. So as I said, it'll be available to everybody. But beyond that, you can take this program, and Shannon will show you how to do that.
Yes.
You have to talk to Shannon.
Yes.
She's the operations manager at GCTV. You can submit this to the Branford group, to the Madison group, Saybrook, Clinton, Westbrook. They all have groups like Guilford GCTV, okay?
Yeah, and I thank you for sharing
And you could
that.
submit it to all those towns, which expands your whole market. Because somebody in Madison or somebody in Clinton, why not?
We want them to come and
Yeah.
enjoy our resource.
Yeah.
God gave us this, and we have done our best, rather, to improve upon it.
All right. So with that, this is Tony Fapiano. I want to thank Lucas and Jordan
Thanks,
for doing a good job. And Jordan, I'm expecting someday you and I are gonna go out and you're gonna be giving me strokes. All right. All right. With that, thanks a lot, Mike. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it, and all the best to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you,
Once
everybody.
again, Tony,
Okay.
Thanks so much.